We did vote, right? We do have a quorum absent. And Caps and then William Cox. Everybody here. So, do you have any announcements? I do not. It's a special meeting, so I didn't really have any. And then the next is public comments. Whoever was signed up. Nice. Oh, there are a lot of time.
No one did.
No one did?
No one signed up. Well,
If you could keep it to the 3 minutes, so we can get moving. 3 minutes of public comment. I don't know. Yeah.
no, you won't.
Over to the next was. It's on the, you know,
Agenda.
agenda. Oh, you have the agenda from there. I didn't realize it was still, yeah, it's still where you're signing on.
Okay.
What is it that you do not come into this, just saying the EHI you're using? School. Matters.
It's under new business. It's gonna be under new business.
The commission shall consist of 6 members to be appointed from the residents in the city and of Blanco and an extraterritorial. It's number 3, Rena.
Number 3, number 3.
Well, I think it is. And at least that's part of it. Number 2 is what you're thinking about, I think. Number 2 and 3 are a little bit similar.
That's
Yeah, it's two.
Blanco School District boundaries.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you don't already heard it, you don't need to hear anymore.
Well, let us read it.
Go for
What do you want to say about it?
You don't want to change about it. We went through this for more than 1 year. We went through it for several years. That is, we're a small town. The EPJ is only a half a mile, and we have too many of our own people, as well as new people in the Brushy Top and to Rocking J. They're not in the EPJ, and we have too many people that would be good on this historic district to limit it only to the city, because you can't get them on here anyway. You have to work and work and work out 7 years. That's how hard it was to get people to serve on the historic commission. And so you have to make it larger, and there are people connected with us and care about Blanco. And so you need to have it, leave it like it is, and not change it.
Appreciate your input. Is that all for public comment?
That's the only one that signed up.
All right, then moving on to new business. We will have discussion and take action on the approval of certificate of appropriateness, COA. Bianca, Meinhardt, 312 Pecon Street, Blanco. To allow an above ground deck using treated and pressurized wood within the setback for the rear of 10 linear feet on a 0 lot line property. Can you go ahead with that one?
Be patient with me, follow with me, because it took a long time to get this guy to put his thoughts together.
Well, wait, where is this property at?
Like 2 doors.
Okay.
That way, right?
Aren't they the ones that wouldn't fix their windows?
Yeah,
Did they ever fix
we're
their
gonna
windows?
talk about that. It's on the report. And the thanks.
Mhm.
Thank you. So I sent you an email back in that day, and then he redid the deck. And we could never get a hold of him by email. So I sent him 2 emails. You know, I should have gotten this. Then I got Lauren, which has been very beneficial to us. She's a friend of ours. She sent a certified letter telling them, hey, we need more information. So that drags it out, and that takes into place that they have 40 days for us to give an answer. But if they're not in compliance with the paperwork, that's on them. You understand that? Most people understand that. Okay. And when they do it yourself, DIY, the blueprints, plans, floor plans and all that, then they're winging it. So all we can do as commissioners is look at the UDC, the design guidelines, the National Secretary of the Interior, Historic Properties. The old flat book like that, you can roll on it. Talks about stone, mortar, glass, the exterior look, signage, mural signs. So I have to look at everything that he has, because at one time that was not a building, it was a non-conform historic building, and it is now. And it dates about 1975. Okay? You go back from 2024, 50 years. If there's a modern building here, they're not considered historic, other than they're in a district. You go to big cities, you see that all the time. Okay, that makes sense, right? Blanco's unique because we're small, we know everything, you see everything. So we try to work with them because they strip properties, they strip place, and as long as they want to fix it, that's what's important. Try to keep your properties maintained. He did pull the permit. The permits are never approved until they come to you guys. Okay? If they go to the city and try to get a permit, they can get paperwork offline, but it should never get approved. Okay? And then the other thing that I had sent y'all, he had sent in a yellow paper photograph, so it wouldn't bring it came out black. So these are the decks you should have gotten that. And I'll make this as simple as I can. When you go to his property in the back, you have Candy's place here next door. First, he was going to build a deck from his concrete in the back porch out. And if you look at his survey, it goes all the way to the end of the porch. That driveway, it literally belongs to him. But he doesn't say anything. That's what told everybody. So I told him that if he could adjust his deck, which he did the other way, so it's running this way rather than that way. And it's about 17.5 wide. And it's 10 feet long. If he would have made it 9'6" and put 2x6 doors, 6 feet on center, he was good to go. But the way he has it, it didn't comply with the joints based on the code, building code, which we don't administer the building code, but we still take that in consideration, since he does not have to look for this. Once you approve of this with modifications and you pull the permit, hopefully Warren will pick that up. As long as he complies with the building code somehow or another, he's good to go. Is there any questions so far before I make my report?
Yes, so did he do the paperwork? I wasn't clear on that. Did he do the necessary paperwork?
Yes.
Did everything he needed to do?
That conforms to us, not the blueprints. Okay, we have nothing to do with that. Like when we were looking at the beer garden, remember they brought us blueprints? We can look at that, and then they have some discrepancies, like they wanted to go to the post office. I guess they had permission, and I told them you can't do that. You cannot tear down fences and buildings, so that wasn't no. And it wasn't the blueprint, we were able to see that. The other thing they wanted to do, I believe they wanted to knock out a part of the building and make some doors. You cannot do that. That was in the blueprints. So there was a lot of things that I could see that you cannot do. And the blueprints help. As a comparison.
So do these guys meet all the criteria they need to meet for us to pass it? Did they ever do their windows?
No, that's right.
Then I would not pass it till they do their windows, because they're,
Oh, we cannot do that.
I know you can't.
But this is how
But I think that's how I think.
Yeah,
They
but
don't,
this is
they
the way
don't
we,
help us, why should we help them?
that's true. And I do this all the time. This is the way we can do it. Did y'all have the HBO report?
I mean,
If you don't have a copy of it. On the first page, So dark in here, warm, get some light.
We have to consider our ages.
Yeah.
There is, well, I guess
There's a
Go ahead.
light that goes up there, but it doesn't make it that much better.
Sorry.
Okay, on page one, it says the deck, which is considered an addition, outdoor, not indoor. Okay? With modification fee below. Number two, it says that all non-conforming signs shall be removed from the property.
This is part of this, what we're
Yes.
voting on?
Yes.
So they have to remove all non-conforming signs.
That's on my report. Okay? Okay, we'll talk about that one. Number two, existing fence needs to meet the local code. It's the fencing that is on the back, it's metal panels, wood panels, all zigzag. I'm not gonna go into how I got there, but there was some discrepancies with neighbors. And one weekend, they went up. And so we have a building code enforcer or someone like one, then you have to put the pressure on him to do that, not us. Okay? We're kind of like the paperwork guys. And then he's the one that has to go out there with a hard hat and enforce it. Does that make sense? So yes, your work means a lot, but then we take that to the city that they must do that. Now, you cannot tell someone, we're not gonna approve of you because of this.
Weren't their signs just part of the problem, and wasn't the other problem that they closed their windows off?
That lines, yeah.
Have they ever fixed that?
Yeah, it's got to be clear, and that's on the design guidelines. Now, understand, this is very important. Many people feel that design guidelines, it's a code, it's a rule you must, it's only a recommendation. Sad, but it's on.
And I can stop you real quick. I actually did speak to them. And I read through everything you mentioned that you only have one sign per window, and the recommendations. And I was telling her for a fact that she would take down 2 posters, said I was very rude, that I wasn't supportive of businesses. I'm like, I'm just telling you what I've been asked and what the rules are. So I would say that is what it is, and she would take down 2 posters for not being compliant. So she knew that.
What's
Everybody,
the penalty for that? Do they
Yes.
get fined?
that,
That was what I was wondering.
and where they did not get a permit for the fence, you can always go back, but I'm not a calculated person to figure out what do they owe by this day. And let's say it comes out to 3,000, then you can compromise with them. You know, here's the bill. And work it out.
It seems like defiance to me from them, because since I've been on this commission and even before when I sat out there, they have refused to comply, and that's been almost 2 years,
Longer.
3 years maybe. And they're still not complying, so why do we put up with that?
That's not you, that's not me. That goes back to the city. We're
I
not.
know they're really busy. I wish there was.
And if they had a code compliance or a building inspector, they're the ones that, in many towns, you see them wear a badge. Some of them wear guns. They're really an official cop, if you will. Small towns will bring in the sheriff or the cop to work with that stuff. That's up to the city. It's like a side job.
Yeah, but they're so busy, so how,
Like I said, you can get the chief of police, they take over part of the building
okay.
aspects of it. There has to be a person, not us, not me, okay? And until the city negotiates that, because he hears everything, and maybe they can work something out. And I know that the budget is low, but again, they can still work something out. Because it's not like you're law abiding, I am too, all of us here, but then when you see someone not doing, it makes you wonder.
That's a bad example, because people will look at them and they'll say, well, they get by with it, so we can get by with it too.
Up to a point, because when I walk the square here, why do you let them do that? And, you know, fingers fly all over the place.
Yeah.
Y'all should walk with me one day. Y'all should walk with me. And even after you give them a permission, this is happening all over the place. On that, National Commissioners Association that we can sign up. I get an email, group email, and read a column from other towns. It's all over, even after you gave them a permit or something, that's your way of approval, they'll do something else. And again, if someone catches that, that's when you get the building inspector. And a building inspector here could be the chief of police. Does that make sense?
It does, because one night, at 1:30 in the morning, they knocked on my door, they said that they thought that I had a water leak. We went out in the backyard, it was just my water bottle on my pool was running, but somebody reported it.
So, good neighbors, that's what that is, good neighbors. Because then we all pay the price.
So I guess my last question. Rudy,
That's okay.
is, so the deck stands alone. We've got to forget about the front of the building. We just vote on the deck. And you have something written in there about signs. But,
The answer is yes and no,
okay.
or no or yes. You're approving it with modifications.
And the modifications are the signs in the
Exactly,
window.
number 2 and 3. That fence does not meet code.
Yeah, that was my big one.
Yeah,
was
it
that
doesn't meet code.
It's not meeting code, so we can't.
It's blind.
See, this is the first time I've heard about the fence, but I'm so tired of hearing about the signs.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
just a
the
little-
fence is a new construction, and the deck and the fence is a new construction.
Yeah.
And they brought it to us the last meeting.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to have a meeting, so now we're gonna deny it based on the fact that it's not meeting code. Or we don't have, whatever we,
You're approving the deck with modifications, and that's part of it.
And that's what you recommend? Okay.
Now, the city can give him so many days to come to compliance with that. But this stuff about you're picking on me, they have more signs, all I do is close my ears. I'm hard of hearing anyway.
we can't.
I have nothing to, I cannot go by personal feelings. You cannot go by personal feelings. You have to go with the rules of the law that Blanco has. We all do. There's 4-way stop sign now, I'm gonna stop, I never have, why should I just go through it? If you run over a dog and hey, you're a baby, that's on you. You did that, not the sign. Okay, so that's part of it. It's on page 2. The modification to be approved based on the design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior standards of historic properties. I went based on that meant that qualification, and again, the building codes, where it says number 1, a center beam, recommend to put a center beam, but I'm not his architect, okay? The deck joists have to be spaced 16 on the center. That is just the norm. I have right here, there's about 6 or 7 pages on how you build a deck. Tomorrow I'm doing this in Johnson City. A lady's deck, 1-year-old, is floating away. When he put there that he's putting concrete pads, I'm telling him, no, you gotta go down. And you gotta put concrete there and put your footings. That's why they float away. The only thing holding it is attachment to the house. And if that's a new home or mobile home that has the sealed beam, the outside, the facing, and it's particle wood, just a matter of time, both can pull out. The way you handle that, there's a new, let's say you bracket that goes inside the floor, you bolt it through, and you bolt that deck with a big old knot on there, so it doesn't pull away. One of the worst things that's happened in the United States is balconies and decks falling apart and people killing themselves in parts. I don't know if it says it here, I don't know if you put in a hot tub eventually up there, it can collapse. What if there's 50 people on there? He has to build it based on the light load and the debt load. Okay, so if y'all want to glance at this after the meeting, but these are all the questions when you evaluate your deck. And that's the national goal. And he doesn't look at it particularly well, as long as he gets stuff right. Back to my report.
And Rudy, are you asking for the fence to come in compliance with this deck?
What's that?
Are you asking for the fence to come in compliance with the deck?
Yeah, yeah, we
With
can
all
all,
trucks,
I
right?
mean, he has to, I mean, there's no other way.
No, yes.
And what's happening, here we are struggling as a city, I say we, with a very low income coming in, and it's a nonprofit, it's not a business. They rely on building projects, right? They rely on that. And why is it? Particularly to build it, to code, so it doesn't hurt someone else. When you have a fence that high, and EMS is looking for someone to have a attack, and they can't even see across the property line. That's why high fences normally start at the side of your house, back. In the front, it has to be low. When the fire trucks, EMS can see the address. Minutes, seconds rather than minutes. It's critical. It's critical. So if they're not doing it right, then why should the rest of us do it right? I think Lauren will take care of that. I think I'm done with my report. You have any questions?
So number 2 is the deck and the fence. Is that correct? Do I
No, the front signage, the
have
front,
that? Yes,
and he may bring it, maybe he brought it up to Cope, but not the writing of this. And then the design guideline says that the right of way is if you're able to see inside. That's all Blanco. All stores were like that. You could see inside. They might have had a little short curtain, like at a cafe, but you could still look inside. And it's a safety thing too. Okay. That's that report.
Similar to the last time, do I have to read directly from it to vote?
Yeah, did you get that one page I gave you that was typed in? The safety plan? Let me see.
Sure.
Let me give me 1 second.
I know we modified this one a lot.
Is
Yes, right.
you may need to write something in,
Okay.
like that whole report, when he pulls the permit warrant, he should take that whole report along with the permit. That's part of his paperwork.
Okay.
But that's kind of like a condensed, but you can write in anything else.
Just like,
You can read it.
Yeah.
And then, once it's approved and voted on, if you sign it, give it to Warren, then they can mail it off. Let's not hold on to it.
okay. Approved with modification, the 17.5 10-inch wood, or 10-foot wood deck with 1 double 2-foot by 6-foot beam running from north to south at 17.5 linear feet span. At the outside of the rear of this deck, there should be a ledger board anchored to the existing foundation porch and the side concrete steps with half an inch installed every 12 inches. Zinc split anchored steel bolts used to attach the new deck to the ledger board, horizontal board to secure and attach this new deck to the building foundation and rear porch foundation. These bolts should be embedded with high quality epoxy at the tie-in point. Deck joist will have to be 2 by 8 at 16 on the center. And then just R507, which I guess.
So do you want to put number 1 and 2 there, the clearing up the signage, the front and the fence? Although you read it here, but it's a well, I never read that. You know, so you want to write that in.
Where next?
You know, I don't mind taking minutes, but there's no way I'm gonna get all that. So,
Yeah, and you don't have to take it like
Well,
right up for this.
if they can scan that to you and mail it to you, that's what we used to do.
okay,
But if you do put it in minutes, the way the state has said, the more you repeat it, especially in the minutes, the better. That way there's no, like, well, I didn't read that, I didn't get that. He might go to the minutes and read. You know, he might lose all that in, what's on the minutes, it's on the, so you see how it dovetails back
it
in.
does, help, like serve a purpose, right? If I put that-
What?
Yeah, and I can just take it over real quick so you can see it. Right.
But it is a lot of writing
Well, I just don't know where I can put the,
on the side.
okay,
Can you just,
yeah, I'll get
send
it.
it to me?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you. I'll take a picture, but I don't know, I imagine, but
Yeah, but that's an excellent question, because we were taught that. If you can repeat it in the minutes, then it's really public knowledge.
Okay, approved with the modification, but then I need to put in the two other details.
Actually,
So where am I? I'm just trying to figure out, and how would I word for the curtains and the,
But just clear the glass, make it to comply with the guidelines, the design guidelines.
okay.
Just
The glass
general.
combined.
Yeah, just general. Because it is based on the design guidelines. And the good thing about it, that 98% of the property owners will say, let us know what we need to do.
I know.
They want to do it right. Mike, the barbecue guy, excellent. I mean, he'll let us know we're not doing something. Reader's the red line.
Okay, so
Most
red
of them are
glass window to abide by guidelines.
Okay.
And then there was one other one.
The back fence. Bring it to code with a permit. They need to pull a permit for that.
So fence and windows.
Okay.
They need to pull a permit for the fence and,
For the-
clear the signage from the window.
And like you said, those, shutters, they can open them during business hours at night, shut some of it. I would think.
It always makes me think they're hiding something.
Fair. Okay, so I just have 2 clear glass windows to abide by guidelines, 3 full permit defense.
You know, a dark building from looking inside, and it's happened to us. We think they're closed, and we somebody, oh, they're open, are y'all, yeah, we couldn't see inside that's human nature.
So what she just read now, are you making the motion?
I will make, a motion.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to approve the COA with modification. Can I get a second?
I second it.
All in favor? COA is approved with modification.
Have it,
All right, so next on your business. Okay. Consideration, discussion, and take possible action on making recommendations to planning and zoning commission and city council to make revision and or addition to Unified Development Code, UDC, section 0.11, historic preservation. B, Historic Preservation Commission. 2, the commission shall consist of 6 members to be appointed from the residents of the city of Blanco and its extraterritorial jurisdiction by the city council to revise word. So I want to discuss revising the wording to expand the area of residence of the commissioners. Because currently we can only have 2 that are out of the city of Blanco. And I think we should open it up for more residents that are in the school district.
On number 3, it says maybe change to 5 or 7,
Yeah, but
but up here it says 6.
well,
So
this is just the first one. We're gonna go down through all of them.
I know, but it seems like we're putting the cart before the horse if we approve 6 members to be appointed and then we change it to 5 and number 3.
This is a totally, like, this is more about geography.
Okay.
And then we'll discuss the number.
I'm gonna be in agreement with Retta that, she has the historical knowledge to know what works. And so that I'm going to say leave it the way it is because it does have a big expanse and I don't think we ought to have more than 2 outside the city because this is a city, situation. And people outside the city don't have a feel for it that people inside the city do.
So my counterpoint to that is we don't have enough bodies doing work on this commission. Flat out, we don't. We just don't have the people showing up.
But then the people outside the city, they don't show
I'm
up
here.
anyway.
I mean, I'm here. I know plenty of people that are outside the city limits that would be happy to participate in
Well, it's
this.
not the city limits, isn't it the school,
That's the school district.
school district?
Yeah, that's,
And the
that's
school
outside the
district
city limits.
Goes way around, so the school district is what we have right now.
No, it is not. It is two people concerned outside the school districts. That's what I'm trying to change, not to go outside the school district. What we're proposing is that we don't have it worded to where it can only be two. It's not gonna be, the number, it could be all 5 commissioners, it could be 2. We're not gonna put a limit on how many need to be in the city versus in the school district.
I just kind of disagree with that, but okay.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine to
I
disagree.
would like for, I think we could be capricious and if we did it right, I talk to your sister a lot. I don't know if you can, sibling, Jane, if you have. There are people who might be willing to be on it if they thought we were affected.
It would be helpful to have people to show up and to be affected. We
Yeah, we
can't
can't
move
be
forward if we can't make quorum. If we can't have participation, why are we here to begin with? You're talking about effectiveness, we have to have effective members. If we open it up, we have potential to have more effective members.
I don't get that. Opening it up.
Hollis, do you have any?
Well, I was thinking, remember that time we had all these people here that wanted
Yes.
to be on the commission?
And some of them are outside the city. And
Yeah, and that's why we told them no. That's why,
But if they're really interested.
how are they
If they're
interested
really
in being told
interested,
no?
they'll
They'll do
our
what?
friends and friends work, and they were so excited about working. And so if they're backing off of working, do they just want to be on the commission and say, I'm on the commission?
Well, maybe they show up though, because that's the
But
first
if they
step.
don't show up as friends, why would they show up as commissioners?
Hollis,
on by maybe.
you've been here and you've shown up. Your
I-
meeting level,
My
If we
husband
look
has
at
been in the
seven-
hospital
I'm
for
fully
months
aware.
and months.
Why are we still with people that won't show up, is my point.
Well, I like what you said down here about having to show up for 75% of the.
No, that's in the bylaws. That's not something you changed.
I've heard that before. But it's not, enforced.
It is going forward. Like, there's no reason why we wouldn't enforce it now.
Okay, that's good.
Because it is crazy to think that we're taking up Warren's time, Jackie's time, my time, Rudy's time. Everyone's time is being taken up on this commission, and then to have no one show up is a huge issue. It's massive. We don't even have minutes from November. That puts us out of
We do
compliance.
have minutes from November. I wrote them.
We didn't get them approved till now because of 2 meetings that we didn't have.
Well, we all
We're out.
agreed not to have them in December because of Christmas.
And in January,
Well, I was sure the
January.
blood bank get blood about that time.
I'm just telling you, if you aren't capable of serving because you have things going on, that's perfectly okay, and no one will fault you. But it's okay to step down. My point is 75% isn't a very hard ask. And neither is saying, hey, let's open it up to the county,
Yeah.
to
Well, I
people that
still
come to
stand
school.
on just the 2 people from the county, from the school district and everything. I still stand on 2. But I'll vote the way I vote, you vote the way you vote.
That's totally, I can't influence your vote. It is what it is, but I'd like it noted that we don't have the participation needed to be an effective council.
And I'm not sure we would have it if we opened it up.
You don't know because we haven't tried. So there's the issue.
I think we bring in people who are not interested in the history of Blanco. You know, Patty Hawes was eager to be, she knows the history and everything, but y'all said, no, we have Hollis and I'll tell you, I didn't grow up in Blanco. I grew up on the fringes and I'm on Hollis off my life and everything.
We voted in people that had a spot because we had 2 spots. One I ended up taking because that's the way the mayor appointed it. 2 was Jackie, and that's who we voted in. Jackie's attended the meetings. She has voted. She has been here. You're talking about a hypothetical person that also has.
We're all talking about hypothetical things.
Correct.
We don't know what's gonna happen with me and Lordship. we don't know. We don't. But if we talk to our people, I think that they would be willing to be on the commission and do a great job. I think Hollis probably thinks the same thing. But, well, you know, Donald McKeon knows people, Jan knows people, you know people who grew up, maybe Patty would give it a shot. I don't know if she would or not.
She would be good.
But she was so eager to help and she got knocked down and I just think that, we know people that are in the,
Maybe if we just enlarge the number of people on commission.
well, we did that in the cemetery, you know, we had like 9 people on the board and we never got a quorum. Since we only have 5 people now, we have a quorum every time. Every time we have a quorum. That's all you need is 3. And we make good decisions and the others that don't come, one works all the time and Donnie just said, I'll do whatever y'all say. And so we have a quorum and we're very vibrant and we often disagree and we fuss it out and it all comes back first. So the more people you have, the harder it is to have a quorum.
To have a quorum, but again, that's addressing, this will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Someone doesn't show up for 75%, regardless, after a number of meetings, you're muted. Whether we have 75% or whether we have quorum or not. Does that make sense? Sure. So if we have 7 and we're making quorum or we're not making quorum, after a while, those people are gonna weed themselves out because they're not showing up at 75%. Cool. I don't have, the thing about the 75%, it's already written in there. That's not up for debate.
I think that's great. I like that rule myself
I do too.
because I like to come to the meeting, but I just, the more people you have, the harder it's gonna come getting the quorum.
I sit on multiple boards. I'm fully aware how hard it is to get a quorum. It turns out when people are committed and they think that it's gonna be an effective thing, they show up. So it's really what it boils down to.
All right. Can I take a minute and read the requirements?
Yeah.
It won't take that long. But I think it's very valid. GDC 4.1, Historic Preservation, the Commission. It says here, up to 2 members outside the extraterritorial jurisdiction inside Blanco Independent School District. Then it says A, an architect, planner, or representative of a design profession. That helps almost every town as an architect. We do not possibly, remember when we had the young guy that was like that in Kansas? He owned that old piece of place. Had a band. He was the only architect of that. But there's one that lives at Carrizo Springs.
Which is out of,
If he's allowed by y'all's input, you could direct him and he said, I don't know, I could be involved. That's an architect. There's one, there might be more than one now. We keep going.
Do we have any architects in Blanco?
No, we only had that one guy. Where the, what's on there now? On the other side, you have a beer, and a beer, what's next door? Is that, there used to be a printing place.
Herbs?
Yeah.
Remember that printing place? Okay, the owner, he moved to Corpus, he was the architect. Then it says here, a historian. A historian could be a school teacher. Huh? That's supposed to be a school teacher, you have 3 schools here. You'll have a licensed real estate broker, which is Pam. An attorney, it might be an attorney that counts. Get this one, an owner of a landmark or property in the historic district. Out of all these 40 buildings, we cannot find one guy or girl that owns a building here. It's just a matter of recruiting them in.
That's what I think.
So you,
Yeah, but we just talked about several things that would be outside of the city of Blanco.
yeah, because then it says a member of the Blanco County Historic Commission, they might all live in Johnson City.
Yeah, they could easily only go in here.
Because
Yeah,
I don't know who runs it, I guess Jamil, but they're supposed to have a body of so many numbers, but way they all live in Round.
or what if they live in this, if they live in the Blanco School District?
Yeah.
I'm not saying get rid of. the Blanco
Archaeologists,
School
and
District.
that's just it.
I'm
So,
saying, just outside the city. This is a small town. There's not a lot of people here.
so the bylaws have, you guys, the number, it's hard to conceive, if you will. But I think if you look at this, it's just a matter of going after them. Right?
It's a matter of geography. This, how big is this? Lauren, how big do you think this town is?
How big is that?
Like, within the city limits?
It's 3.4 miles of.
No.
Population.
The population,
Oh, it's about 21.
2,100 people.
Wow, in 1 week.
Well,
It's
can
not
we-
1,800.
I know what it says.
Yeah.
It changes without the sign going up.
That's the way for the next census.
So we
Is
don't
the-
have enough.
Is the public allowed to say anything?
Not
No.
supposedly. Go ahead.
What's going?
Well, I would just say that I do think that a lot of the people who live in the surrounding areas are either people who are retired and maybe may meet some of those professional criteria. Also, what I've seen, I haven't been here for very long, but the year and a half or so that I've lived here, most of the people that live in town are probably not going to meet some of those criteria based on, I think, when you're talking about like socioeconomic demographics.
Or age, right?
Yeah.
Or ability to serve.
Yeah, and the time commitment.
Mhm.
You know, like it's very difficult right now to meet what we need with who we got. And I'm not saying that we make it so we just replace everybody that's existing. It's not so much that, oh, it's just taking the wording out of 2 people and saying, oh, maybe the next time we elect someone, it can be 3. It's just having that open-ended, hey, it's as long as they're in the school district, then it's fine. This doesn't stop at 2.
Didn't Wendy, there was a commissioner, Glenn Caressa Spring?
Yeah, but we're allowed 2 currently.
Oh,
I'm
she's
one
one
of
of,
them.
okay.
Yeah, I'm one
Who's the second?
for this one.
Where does Barnaby live?
Barnaby's in town. Ham's in town, correct?
So
Yeah,
it's only you,
it's only me right now.
you also go out there and architect.
We have 1, yeah, that's 1 spot. I'm just saying, let's open it up
Yeah,
and start putting this limitation on
that
it.
makes sense.
Well,
It doesn't
can,
make
can we
sense.
change it from 2 in the school district to 3 in the school district?
I just said take the wording out altogether. What's the point? As long as it says in the school district, I don't know why we need a set number.
I just have to agree with Retta since she has the history and has faced these very same problems.
And, but what group did she face
that?
this?
She's faced them her whole
No.
time.
Like, you say
No,
you faced
you
it.
heard her
I know.
as well as I heard her, so she
Recently?
didn't give me a year.
Yeah.
But she gave us a history of it. And so, I feel very confident that Retta knows what she's doing.
I wish I had the same confidence right now because I don't see a whole lot of movement from this commission and I don't see a whole lot of change happening. So,
There has been a lot of snags, and that's one of them, right? There has been, that's why I quit twice, because it's like, we're not gonna, this
not
wheel
doing it.
is not turning. Something has to get, then when I go to trainings, I learn how they fix it. But that's up to you guys, we don't roll. I think y'all are headed in the right direction,
we have to.
but it needs to be tweaked. It needs to be tweaked, that it's a little bit
Our
more
current
friendly, it's
system
not so
doesn't-
friendly right now.
It's broken. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to address this. If it was effective, if it worked, I would be sitting here telling us that we need a change.
I think you're right about if people aren't committed, they won't come.
Yeah,
So,
and
they
there
will
is,
themselves out.
and there's so much like potential within the school district.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't, I mean, everybody has a vested interest in this town. You know, just because I don't live in the city limits doesn't mean I don't care about my town.
Most people do care. If UDC four, that's where it came from. Wasn't local, wasn't red, it was the state.
The
They
same
said,
line
here's a cookie
regulations.
cutter, y'all go fix it, and he never got fixed.
That's,
If you Google the state recommended bylaws, this comes up. And a lot of
Word for
cities
word.
used to use it, they trashed it out.
We're
But it's
probably
just an
gonna go
outline.
ahead and vote, we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do, it's almost 7:00 and I have a caregiver. So, I don't know where,
We might have to table this one. I don't think we're gonna get it voted on.
Don't you
Yeah,
make a
'cause-
motion?
I make a motion to table this.
Yeah.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
All in favor? All right, this, is tabled to old business. Next one. Are we gonna have time to get through these now that you're?
I'm just ready to go. I mean, that much discussion is what keeps our meeting. I mean, you knew where I stood, I knew where you stood, and the input was good, but we stretched it out a long time, so let's just, I'm gonna stay till it's finished, but
Okay.
if we could just,
Well,
cut
the
out.
next one is discussing the same thing, but changing it from 5 to 7.
What number is that?
It's,
Three?
3, yeah.
To change to 5 or 7, right?
Yeah, or 7.
Because there's 6 of us on.
Yeah, should we just table that, sort of make it, do we want to just keep it all together and table the whole commissioner changes?
I'm good with either number. I don't mind having 10 people on the commission, honestly. I just, from my experience, and I'm sure y'all have much the same experience, it is very hard to get a quorum with a lot of people. And if, I don't know who our friends of our commission are. I don't even know if they signed the list or anything, but if they're truly as interested as they were that night, and we asked them to do something, I bet they do. So we're tabling number 3.
If I can say something, that's the only one that I actually take a lot of interest in. And I'll tell you why, because, when we look at quorums, 5 forms 3, 7 forms 4. Not sure why, and there's a historical reason why we have 6. 6 creates tie both times, and it also makes it harder to have a quorum, because 6 is still 4. So that actually came from me, that's trying to make sure that we always need quorums, 5 or 7 is better now.
Yeah.
Some people like 5, some people like 7, just whatever you want.
Or, like I said, it came from the state. That takes care of the metropolitans, not little bitty towns. That was the problem. It was an idea, go tweak it, it never happened. Not that it was wrong, it just didn't happen. I like that number you said, Bob,
That's what I would.
because one would be missing it in simple. Because y'all dedicated, only to one person probably, we don't know. Sounds good.
We have further discussion on 5 or 7. Policy or anything?
5 minutes. We could increase.
I'm thinking more along increase and then 75% takes out the problem.
I think
Because-
more.
The thing for me is we need the people on it to make a change. We need more bodies to do things, not less. So putting it to 5 is gonna cut manpower, which is what we don't need. So if we go to 7, we have more manpower, and then, okay, well, it's harder to make a quorum. Well, 75% will leave that quorum issue out.
And with it being 7, again, it's an odd number, there won't be a tie.
Yeah.
If everyone shows up.
Well, in many of the organizations I've been on, the chairperson can't vote. I mean, I was surprised when on this organization, the chairperson could vote.
I remember seeing one.
So they doesn't exclude them, that's why.
Yeah.
I know what
there's
you're
one
saying, I've been there. I started my own nonprofit in San Antonio. We had all kinds of meetings, but it was business. We make more money after we signed up. We literally make more money being in the association. It's just close to it.
Well, so you have, say we could go with 7, you have 6 people, and then the chairperson or the mayor or whoever breaks it up. And that's what my experience is. But I don't know what, I don't know. Okay, so we need a motion for the table number 3, or do we want to?
Do we want to vote on it?
I think we should
vote?
I think, yeah.
I'm
from
good.
5 to,
Hollis, do you want to make a motion?
I make a motion to change, our commissioners from 5 to 7,
No, 6.
6 to 7, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
So now that'll go to the zoning and then city council. 4, I want to, has everybody looked at 4? Because this was, secretary. We can't seem to get a secretary. Like, committee,
To the city council.
city qualified, just to serve as a secretary, taking notes.
Well, all your secretary needs to do is take the minutes. I'm glad to do it. But I don't have a lot of hours, right now to do the things secretaries need to do. Because I want more to do. But I'm glad to do the minutes. And if y'all like the way I do them, if you don't.
Lauren, is there someone that would like to do the minutes for us? Maybe not.
Oh,
Maybe
you're
y'all-
talking on staff?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is there's only 3 administrative people in the office, myself, the city secretary, and the finance director. Everybody else are clerks. So really, the reason why we haven't done this before is that there isn't enough time for staff to do this for all the commission. Well, we would have already done it.
Yeah.
So, yes, you could request that, and council may or may not agree with it. I have to look at, I have to make some arrangements to try to make sure that it's gonna be adding more pressure to the city sector.
Oh, Gail, I have an app on my phone when I had to do the minutes, because that chairman quit right here in front of us. And I had no secretary. Remember the time I had to put a light? I downloaded an app. I'm sure that's better. I'm not paying anything. You can't. And it takes the voice and verbatim the sentences. Then you forward it to your email, and then you say, "Oh, I remember that," and you just fix it up. That was it. But you gotta make sure that everybody talks in the microphone. I can share that app with, Maria. She might look for better. That's the solution.
She's doing it for you.
Yeah, I know, but I can say it to all of you. I'm not saying it's the best one, but it
There
worked
is
for me.
something else.
and not a little recorder, the old town, this one actually records the words. But you have to talk on the mic. And it's,
I'm recording it on my phone right now.
oh, so you have it.
I just have a voice app, you know,
That's
like,
what I have, and he types it out.
oh, it doesn't do that.
Oh, this one does. I'll send you the app later.
So we'll just, I guess, take that one off the table. It probably will go to city council. Yeah, forward.
I can't, not in city council asking their city employees to do more work for our commission. Because, you know,
Especially if
they're
they're
so-
short-handed.
So do we, make a motion that we,
I don't think we even have to make.
Take it off the table.
No, we don't have to.
Do nothing.
what do we have to do with Warren to be orderly? Do we,
You just tip, well, don't, you don't, you still don't vote on it at all.
Yeah, we don't have to. vote on
You don't vote
it.
Table.
It's not even, no, tabling means it's gonna come back up.
just
So
not,
this is just
Dismiss it.
dismissed, yeah. 5 is the discussion, it's a no action. But it's regarding enforcement of the UDC 75% rule.
we know we already have discussed it, and I agree with that.
I know, so
So I think we'll get to go on that one.
as long as everybody's aware that they will be removed or
But
they're
medical
willing to resign,
reasons,
it has to be their own medical reasons.
no, they can't, you can't say that because.
It says it in it.
Well, and I object to it because, like, she took care of her husband for months. And,
This is 23, I'm just basing it off 23 attendance.
other acceptable excuse.
The other acceptable excuse would have to come up somewhere else, but I'm just saying that
And Lauren, how does that work? Other acceptable excuse, if I'm taking care of Keith, and he and I are one, and he's my husband, just like Hollis took care of Rory.
I might go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here. I'm gonna let you all know this, bringing this to council tomorrow night with my recommendations. And, I am going, and I may be wrong, I'm gonna present this as we're looking at one member that hasn't been to 75%, either isn't any kind of qualified, excuse. I'm gonna say that everybody else here has met the requirements. And so, that's my opinion, that's how I'm gonna present it.
that isn't.
That's factual.
Barnaby has been taking care of his father who's passing away, who's since passed away. So it's the same type of situation.
Then you should be excused for that.
And I'm saying neither one of you should be excused for that.
I know it's what
You
you're saying,
should
but
step down and let someone who can be here.
if that's the case, then Hollis would have had to have stepped down.
I talked to mainly on 23. I have no influence over any years prior to this.
And again.
And this
let me say
isn't
again.
influence, this is just gonna be.
But when I've spoken to people, I've spoken with them and I've gotten feedback. With that individual, I've got no feedback. So I can only go with the information I have. And I'm gonna tell you what my recommendation to council be. That'll be up to them what they want to do. I'll stop at that.
No action on that one, but I think everybody knows where we stands. The sixth one is actually really important. It's gonna keep us in compliance with the state. And we can lose our belt a lot. Rudy will be able to tell us everything we can lose, but we need to be able to add the following to our bylaws, which is a minimum of 90 days. Yeah, it's just a 90-day stay on the demolition instead of the 60.
Proper way to say it.
Okay, so you want me to do the report?
Yeah.
Yeah, the agenda says 90 days. That might have been my part. Some cities have 90 up to 140. Okay? Now, the one that has the color page, you looking at that? Number Emma, I can vary. Left bottom. We must require a minimum of a 60-day stay on demolition of design historic properties. Then when you go to the next page, this is all the UDC says. Remember, it's a cookie cutter from the state. So certificate of appropriateness required for demolition. It just says a permit, that was number one, a permit for demolition of a historic landmark or property within the historic district, including secondary building and landscape features, shall not be granted by the building inspector or other city official without the review of a completed application for a certificate of appropriateness by the commission as provided in the section, a little thingy there, 8, 9, and 10 of the ordinance. Go to online and see that ordinance. So the city doesn't give a timeline. And you say, oh, well, that's never knocked down any buildings in Blanco. Guess what? From that, that's the oldest residence in Blanco. That's the uptown office. That's the oldest residence. The next oldest building, correct me if I'm wrong, is the jailhouse. And the third would be the courthouse. I have my numbers on my computer, but you know what, we're talking about that. That's the oldest residence. At one time, it was gonna get knocked down. You know, these high school pulled money together. The other building that was gonna get knocked down or moved was the courthouse. Y'all lost the gas station where 0300 is at. And then where the mill was at, I don't know what happened there. That was next door to the mill, the cotton mill. And then the building over here burned down where the 419 is at. So if anyone says, oh, don't worry about that, we're fine, we're small folks, people, but demolition takes place behind your backs.
Yeah.
We've lost, since I've been here since 2004, 20 years,
That house.
y'all have lost 10 houses historic. And every time I see that, you don't know how I feel inside.
How does that happen?
I'm not, I don't know.
How do we not, we notify?
The Rose House, the Brooklyn Heart. the
You
Brooklyn
didn't
Heights.
need to.
Because citywide, I'll tell you what, citywide, there's no survey inventory says, landmarks don't touch. Okay? One house, I think is what he's saying, the owner had said, it's unfixable. I have fixed worse houses than that was there. 20 times worse, not once or twice or 10, 20 times worse. And we resurrected the building. The good one is for the doctor used to live at 9 in Cherry Street. I'm a doctor saying that works here at the store. Way back, of course, in budget.
Strickland? No, the
Oh,
Spears. I'll have his house, as a guest house, the old Spears, the old.
What year did it?
Before on 7th Street. Right across from the church.
The one on Cherry and 9, the doctor lived there, did operations and everything, so-called operations. That house, the roof way down worse than a saddle on a horse. Okay? That went on auction. And I lost on that deal. But anyway, I know the owners, I fixed it for the owners. You go in there right now and it's like the day was built. No one should tell somebody like me that has experience, since I was 12 years old and I'm 68, that you cannot fix old houses. I've
Yeah.
been there, done that.
I think we need to do something.
So-
So I would go at least 90 days. To let, at least.
Y'all need to vote on that.
Yeah.
Is there any
Do
question?
they need to report that they're not going to tear it down? I mean,
Yeah.
what
The
if
city
they
will give
just,
them a, yes, the
it's
city will
like
give them a
up there,
permit.
you know, they just tore it down before anybody knew they were tearing it down.
Yeah, I thought
Apparently they pulled the permit.
Oh, really?
And there was no ordinance in this town, again.
We didn't have a 60-day ordinance?
No, there is no
When
ordinance.
when I tried to make this in conversation in the past, it's about 05 when I got in P and Z, it went to deaf ears. We were too busy trying to do a gateway. We were too busy trying to do a walking tour. Brochure. We still don't have. We were too busy in other things. And it got lost on the way and I'm thinking, the meat is not here.
We don't have our walking tour done, I thought we did that.
I don't call it that.
I'd
But
like,
we're talking about that
I'd
tomorrow.
like to go ahead and make a motion. If I could say more than 90 days, I would, I think 90 days is reasonable.
That was 3 months.
Okay, I'm good for that. Let me keep saying. You might want to extend your motion that all landmarks outside the district should be included.
Yes.
This is just the district.
Oh, yeah.
All landmarks, most cities take 75 years and older. The Secretary of Interior says anything over 50 years, whether it's your car, antique furniture, house, anything over 50 years, it's an antique. But a lot of cities say 75 years or older.
No, I would say.
I think
That's on your, I'm done with
it's
the
almost
report.
agreed upon, you know,
I think at least if it's 50 years or older, I think it should.
I believe we should get on the side of the table.
Absolutely.
I actually need to add more to it. Okay? That's important. Oh, yeah, we're here for it together today. Historically significant. What does that mean?
Something must have happened there or something would.
Significant. You have an old house and it's 100 years old, but never got maintained, it's dilapidated, you pick up the lumber and termites and half of it's been burned, there's no more significance in that building. Does that make sense? There's nothing there to tell me that it's worth anything. So it has to be historic significant. Many of the windmills that are still there and they look intact, but they're just not fully what, that's significant. The rock walls throughout town, yeah, maybe some rough stuff, but it's still significant. Old houses, maybe they've changed the windows to aluminum windows, but it's still livable, that's significant. So it has to be significant. Who determines that? Bunch of people. Building inspector, the fire department, myself, you guys, almost anybody. Any question before I sit down and get back up?
Let's include that also.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because people will say, why are you saying that? What's wrong with, there's gotta be something.
Okay. Minimum 90-day stay on anything. Doesn't have to be a building, any historically significant building or
They call them landmarks.
landmark.
Landmark covers, it's an umbrella, landmark,
Okay, any historically significant landmark.
that's an umbrella.
Did I catch it? Did we specify where?
I think so.
Citywide.
Citywide.
Why don't we do it outside the city? Cause there's a bunch of old houses outside the city.
That is real complicated.
I think we know the ETJ, right? You can also,
ETJ.
outside the city, you can go to ETJ.
I know that
From
there's no
store.
building code
Yeah.
in the county.
I don't know. That's what
You
they're,
can't, like, my house is all out of code and there's nothing anyone can do about it because I live in the county.
Closed and grandfathered.
We don't,
No,
we don't
no.
need codes.
Like, there is no code in the county, is my point.
okay.
It doesn't exist.
Then the
It's great.
county, at the next meeting, y'all can make a motion to get the county historic preservation guys to do that.
Isn't that
Wow.
Jonelle?
Huh?
Jonelle?
And you can only
But there,
request,
there's like no code in the county. I don't know how they're gonna enforce
there
it.
is a building code,
There-
like for subdivisions and
For
things like that.
subdivisions,
Yeah.
but like individual property owners where there is historic stuff, there's
That-
no code that you can hold us to.
Yeah, that
Just-
goes back to the county,
That's
But
like a
there-
state thing, actually.
because there is a county preservation commission. They're just not as strong as you guys. Okay?
And that's what I'm saying about being grandfathered, it's already been there, they're not gonna take it apart.
No, I just meant that like, there is no like, for living in a county out of a city, there is no code. Whenever you build something, you can just build it. I don't have to go apply for a permit. The only thing I have to apply for is well. That's the only thing.
I have to dovetail this information. Out in the county, if you have a 200-year-old house, you can get a marker on your own.
Yeah.
To the state and to the, Secretary of State and DC. So it's not all on, they can do their own thing.
Yeah, it's literally just Wild West out there. All right, so your motion, you want to repeat it real clearly?
I'm not sure if I can.
Okay. It was a minimum of a 90-day stay.
On, any,
Any demolition of any designated historic structure, buildings, or landmarks in Blacko that are 50 years old.
yeah, that's it,
It states and then it's citywide.
didn't want.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
All right,
Any,
so that paragraph that's on the UDC, what they will add is the timeline that y'all gave. But then there's a whole different 4 or 5 pages of regulation that comes along with it. I'll pull that together. It's just not one other thing go away, that's it. There's a lot of stuff. In other words, if the person is determined that they're going to move that house, no matter what, then you can come back and say, then hold on to the lumber or move the home to some other location. Maybe we can get a buyer to move it. So there's some options there, okay? Reclaim, they call it reclaim.
That's the one.
so that, just that motion passes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is something different. They
Yeah.
dovetail for that later.
All right, number 7 is approval of minutes from November 27th, the meeting.
I know that Lori printed those off for the last time we had a meeting.
Yeah.
And I don't know that.
There's no changes.
Were you okay with the way I did it?
Yeah,
Then I stated the agenda item and then said what we did.
Yeah. So I make a motion to approve the minutes for November 27th meeting. Second, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes, minutes are approved. And then the last is 8, consideration, discussion, and take action on the approval of the reimbursement, with annual membership, which is kind of straightforward. I make a motion to approve the reimbursement.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's, old business is the assignment of the secretary. So this is gonna come back to the,
Come back to the table.
yeah.
And tell me what, the job description is for a secretary.
maybe,
I just didn't take a minute.
Yeah, you just take minutes.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's really all.
I'll be the secretary of all, just take minutes for the time being. I don't have to go file anything or turn in reports or anything.
The report, I mean, just turn in the minutes.
I don't mind doing minutes.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, as long as I can set up with what I do.
No, it looks good. If we just want to turn in the minutes, that's.
So if you want me to be your secretary just to do the minutes, I'm more than happy to do it. But I know a good secretary does a lot more than. I mean, I look at Lori, I don't know how Lori keeps her standing.
Secretary, like, that's a very different type of secretary. For this type of situation, all the secretary is responsible for is
So I don't mind
minutes.
doing that.
Yeah.
I thought I made that clear last November, that I didn't mind doing the minutes, but I didn't want to do all the other stuff. right?
Yeah, there isn't really any other stuff that it's just minutes and then turning them in.
Okay.
So, I will put a motion to have Kale as our secretary, the 23rd, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 25.
Well, maybe don't go back to 23, maybe just say, maybe November 27th, what do you think? Well, let's just put something out.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, all in favor? All right, committee reports. Do we, I think we're gonna take.
I had some as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna start doing it.
I'll have to remind you.
Oh,
Am I next?
No, we're gonna table committee reports,
Oh, you are?
just because people are.
Can we do this lesson? The matters. Real simple.
better make it quick.
Yeah, to make it clear.
Exactly. Yeah, y'all got most of the stuff that we need to
Yeah.
vote on, but this is really important.
Yeah.
Just what she was talking about earlier. So this is the ordinance for banners. All the records on the books. And when I was very active as the last HPO, people would pull permits. Once they knew I wasn't here anymore, they hang banners all over. Talk about busyness, banners go up and down. And here's all the regulations. And the city should go after them because that's money that would come in.
Yeah.
It's not fair for someone to put up banners month after month after month. So the only thing that there's no holding it, the only thing that I would want you guys to see, that somehow the city, at the city hall would have a waterfall display. We create this kind of stuff, put it there, they can say, well, I didn't know, well, then we got regulations written down.
You want to make a QR code that takes them right to it?
Well, this would be good that if the city would mail it to all the property owners, and most of them would comply.
People generally are good people. You know,
Yeah.
people don't try to be bad on purpose.
No, just.
Some business people, not that being one, their marketing feels like they're gonna do whatever they want. Feather banners citywide, the first thing it says there on signage, no feather banners, and they're all over the place. Because then the church here did a good job. They removed it when we sent them a letter that Roxanne was the chairperson. But before that, people would say, well, what about them? We didn't tell them. And you feel sick after you got to give them an answer. So it's something simple. Okay? So on the next meeting, maybe y'all can vote to get a waterfall display. And we'll have the tour guides and all that kind of stuff. Okay?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? The meeting is adjourned.